Hey guys, it's me. Just sitting here on spring break doing this video lesson for y'all. Hopefully, y'all are having a nice spring break. Probably was like the week before, I imagine. Anywho, we all hope sports come back on TV soon. Anyway, I digress. We have the AP Euro rubric. It's going to be a DBQ, basically a 45-minute DBQ. And so it's worth 10 points, and I'm going to show you how you get your points. I have linked this document so you can print it out and actually basically have it with you when you take the exam. So you are checking off everything. So let's start off right here with contextualization. Um, so right here, it's the same. It's worth 1 point. We've practiced this. How do you get this point? You do the before, during, after that we've been working on. If you do the before, during, after, I would do, especially with before, at least 2 to 3 sentences, during 2 sentences, and after 2 sentences. And you will get the context point without a doubt. Now, for the thesis, you've got to make an argument related to the prompt. All right? As you see, the thesis must consist of one or more sentences located in one place, either in the introduction or the conclusion. All right? So you got to make the argument and you've got to make it specific. Even if you're re-mentioning the specificity within the body of your paper, it's okay to write it twice. You always get so afraid to write it twice and get the thesis point. So the thesis is easy to get, guys. So we'll be practicing it, so it's worth 1 point. So there's your 2 points right here. Now the good news is there's only going to be 5 documents. You got it? 5 documents. So I like this little chart. This was done by Tom Ritchie. It's good. So all you have to do is describe at least 2 documents. You got to describe it. So if we're doing the 30 Years' War, right? In the 30 Years' War, it's addressed by a prince. You've just got to describe it. Stop! Don't even quote. Don't you love to quote? When I read 500 DBQs last year, I hated reading quotes. Just describe it. I would describe as many as you can to make sure you get those 2, because they're gonna mark it if you just get 2. There's a point. And then you've got to relate after your description. You describe it, 1 sentence, and then a long sentence really, and then you come back and it's got to support the argument you're making. So we've worked recently on religious or political causes of the 30 Years' War. You would say, hey, this after you describe the document from the prince, you would say this helps with. Sorry, I had to pause it. You would say, like, so you describe what the prince is talking about, and they say this supports the argument that the causes were political in the 30 Years' War, because you can't, you love to stop at, hey, it supports that it's political, but you don't say why it supports that it's political. You do that for 4 documents, you get 2 points. You do it for 2 documents, you get 1 point. That's all you have to do. Remember that, because. And okay, so right here, this is due to your point of view of the king. Or if it's a diary entry, you would say, they're probably telling the truth, because why would you lie in your diary? I would point toward the audience a lot. I think audience is really easy to do. And you can do it. If you do it for 1, you get 1 point. If you do it for 2, you get 2 points. I would do it for as many documents. At least out of the 5, 2 are going to stick, right? With how you do audience, which I know we haven't practiced that much. So point of view, purpose, audience, all can be done. You do it for all 5. You're rocking and rolling. So on these, you describe the document, and then you relate it to your thesis. That's when you say, hey, it supports the political causes of the 30 Years' War because, and then boom, you're going to get the point. And then you can just circle back around with a sentence that says the audience really for the king was his subjects, letting them know X, Y, and Z. So there you go. Now this is kind of something new right here that they've added to the DBQ just for this year only. You have to have 2 specific examples, historical evidence beyond the documents. And it has to be relatable, okay? It just can't be a DBQ on Hitler, and you're like, oh, and Hitler was a painter before World War One. Yes, that's extra information, but it doesn't relate to anything about Hitler and World War Two. It just says he was a painter. So this is what I've seen before is the specific evidence that people throw in there that have no relationship. So something you would kind of do as outside evidence is you could talk about if it was a DBQ about religious elements in the Renaissance, and you were one of the documents was um, the Last Supper by Da Vinci. You would say something like, uh, in addition to the religious elements in the Last Supper, Da Vinci also showed religious elements in Madonna on the Rocks. I don't know if y'all remember what that was, but it's just an example. So I've just related individualism to another piece of artwork that he did. That's how you do your historical evidence. So if it's like Enlightenment, and you're talking about Montesquieu and freedom, you can also say that, hey, Voltaire, outside evidence if it's not a document, Voltaire was also big on freedom, and he wanted freedom of religion. He ended every letter with "crush the infamous thing." So this is how it's got to be, the outside evidence got to be related to a point that you're making. If you do one example, it's 1 point. If you do two examples, it's 2 points. And this right here is, we're going to get this. So what you're going to do is, in your conclusion, you are going to restate your thesis. A lot of times when I've read it, the thesis has really stunk in the introduction, but after they wrote the paper and rewrote the thesis again in the conclusion, I was like, bam, they got it. This is the however point. You got it? Which we practiced not too long ago. Actually, our first week of DLL. Guys, this is where you're going to restate the thesis, and let's say you argued for political causes of the 30 Years' War. This is your however, and you write a nice several sentence of how it could also be seen as religious causes. I think the however point, how doing it with the lead in with however, and then really, writing 2, 3, 4 sentences in the however in the conclusion will get you this complex understanding point for a total of 10. So I think this is very, very, very doable. And I think you can really score some points. And remember, in Euro, you're competing against a lot. Majority sophomores are taking this, and most of y'all are seniors and juniors. No offense to my two sophomores, but you get better at writing over the years, okay? And so I think this is a great way to really rack up some points and get an easy college credit for a 55-minute test or 45-minute test. All right? I mean, think about that. 45-minute test, college credit. I mean, I think it's awesome. So I want you to just type in here that you have watched the video, and that's all I need from y'all. Just type watched, and that's it. And tomorrow, I'm going to send you an assignment where you're going to need to let me know if you're taking the test or not taking the test, or if you're getting a refund, which is a 100% refund, which I understand, and it's completely up to y'all. But it's up to you to get the refund. I'm not doing the refund. The school's not doing the refund. You've got to take the lead on getting the refund for the test. All right, guys. I think this sheet is great, and I've attached it for you to print out and have with you, and maybe watch this video again the night before the test and take little notes on it and stuff. I think you're going to do very well, and we're going to be practicing this and reviewing the course over the next couple of weeks, getting ready for the test. And the test is in about 4 weeks. I think it's May 13th, if I'm correct. So, all right, guys, have a great day.